screen. But
Yeah.
he's been very efficient. Oh, there goes the on-air button.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Well,
cool. I
this
don't
is
know if
pretty
JT.
cool, really. I mean, technology today is so different. I mean, it's crazy how you can what you can do, with remotes and all that kind of stuff. And
Oh yeah,
it's
I got all kinds of. I've got like 12 buttons on my desk that I can be
okay.
hitting to do all kinds of stuff up here. Hey,
JT, are you in your home?
yes, yes,
So you
this is
got
my
your own
home office.
studio then, huh?
I wouldn't call it that. It's a bedroom with a computer in it, but
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a studio, and but he's selling himself short on what he actually has in there because coach, what you don't know is that the computer that he actually built by
Oh,
himself.
okay.
And what I guess what we would call a hard drive is no longer called a hard drive. Well, he
no, they're
would
still
call
called
it.
hard drives. They're just
It
different types of hard drives.
it's just a very big one that you find in what thousands of gigabytes. I might be
Yes.
I
exaggerating or
got you.
whatever. Something that you and I don't.
No, right, yeah. You're talking when you say gigabytes, that is like talking German to me.
Terabytes. It's probably terabytes,
Yes.
but he's the one. He's got the silent fan in the back where it gets really hot in his room in there, so his wife don't come in there because it starts burning up because
Well, yeah. Well,
usually
that's
at
why I
like
got to start
12
leaving a
3.
door open now, because
Yeah.
like you close that door and all of a sudden it's like 85 degrees in here.
Yeah, right.
I already got my sleeves
Well,
rolled up.
well,
Uh,
Coach, I told him to spend some money on the damn room since he's in there all the time. Quit buying all the other little toys that he has and
all right.
get a studio. Damn it, his house is big enough that he could,
Yeah, yeah,
he could do something. Add on
yeah.
to the back.
That'll. Oh, come on now.
Add on to the back. Instead of the big patio you put back there in the back, you could close something in.
Put a little studio back
Yeah,
there.
Hey, yeah.
yeah. I mean, true. Ty don't need that much room. Good lord.
Yeah.
For
Well,
the people in the chat, we got about 10 minutes before the show actually starts. So
okay.
we just kind of here chatting right now. Uh, so
We catch it up all the time, so this would be something that a lot of people won't hear, Coach. So I guess I probably can ask you a couple things um, about it. That maybe I was curious about. Right. Well, first I need to say this because I've never ever said it to you.
Right.
Is first of all, I want to say thank you, not for just coaching me, but I don't think you actually really know that when you brought me up to um, Cleveland, when you were up there with Butch, and I got to do my internship up there with you and Clancy, and I had the
Right.
time to come up there and study,
Right.
right out of getting out of the league and trying to figure out what I want to do. Did I want to coach and this kind of stuff? And I want you to know how that impacted me. Really, to say, what you guys helped me learn about me and where I was, and was I ready to coach on the
Right.
NFL level,
Right.
and what you opened up to me. Um, I'm not saying this a bad way, okay? Was that I realized I was not ready. Um, not from the sense of not knowing football,
Right.
but I really wasn't ready to get into the business side of it from the coaching side that a lot of us don't see as
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
as
Yeah. I'll tell
players.
you. Well, first of all, let me tell you that that's what I care about. To be perfectly honest with you, I could care less about the Super Bowls and all that. No, obviously, I like to win. I liked all those things, but I really like seeing what you guys have done. When we go back, I went back to give you an example. I went back to the University of Miami uh, national championship reunion,
Hmm.
and that was in 1987. So that's a long time ago when that happened. And there, out of my 18 DBs, 16 of them were there.
Oh wow.
And for me, that was huge because a number of them came back because I was coming back. And that's what I care about is what's happened to the guys and what everybody's doing. And it's really the same thing with the Cowboys. When you go back there, there's so many players that are still in the area like yourself. And that makes me feel good when I get a chance to see what everybody's doing. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I
yeah,
appreciate it. That was you guys got me going, on the coaching carousel. There was a couple of times I felt like I could have jumped in, and I
right.
don't know that I actually had. I don't know. I was going to say multiple opportunities to go, um, but man, I don't know how coaching what the pay is now. But I'll tell you what, try to get in the door back in the day, man. Y'all were trying to lowball folks, coach. Man, y'all got come from. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna do all this for that little bit. I know you just want me to get in and get going, but God, no, we
Yeah,
got
well, you were with a couple of pretty good coaches there with Todd Bowles and Pagano. I mean, both of those guys ended up doing really good things in the league. Both of them ended up head coaches in the league,
Yep.
and of course you had Zimmer.
Yes.
You were with Zimmer, right? With us, right? Yeah,
Yes, I was. I
yeah,
was.
yeah. So I mean, you were around some pretty decent coaches too. That was probably a good learning experience in itself. So
Man, it's absolutely amazing between what I had, not just with the Cowboys, with our whole defensive staff, but even when I was with the Green Bay Packers. I
right,
mean, we were freaking. Now I sit here and talk to people having Andy Reid and
yeah,
Mariucci and
yeah,
Marty Morningwig and
yep. A lot of head coaches, a lot of
who were
future
they?
head coaches there.
Dick Duran.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody was up there. Just kind of, it's unbelievable. You don't really see it, when you're playing like that, and then all of a sudden you're like, golly, these guys that we're around who have tremendous um, brains. Were
pretty successful. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. So who you picking in the Super Bowl then?
Well, you know what? I mean, I think the teams are pretty equal in different ways, but I would say a champion is a champion until they're not. So I'm going with Kansas City just because Mahomes, he's a special cat, and Purdy's good. A lot of people say he's a game manager, but I don't think that. I really think the guy's a great processor and all those kind of things. But I'm not sure, you go into that ball game. I'm not sure that Kansas City doesn't have the edge, although San Francisco's got some firepower. So, and I
Mhm.
think Spagnola, the defensive coordinator, is really good for Kansas City. I think he has a way of taking away guys that have to be taken away, and so I'm going with them. I'm not sure. It's a pick 'em basically, 1.5 or two
Yep,
2 points either way. I mean, you know that, George. It can go either direction. Who
that's
knows?
right.
Comes
That's
down
right.
to 2 or 3 plays, and the team that makes them wins. The team that doesn't, they lose. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's going to be a great game. All I'm saying is I am picking Kansas City to win the game. I just Mahomes, Kelsey, and the defense that they have. I just think that Kansas City's defense is playing good. But I'm with you. There's both um, pieces there. I just think it's. I'm just looking for a good. I think it's going to be a whole lot more physical than people think because of the way
right,
their defense.
right.
And I'm
Yeah,
excited about that part to see some old
absolutely.
school football, people getting in each other's grill,
Yeah.
you know, um, a little bit. So I think that's. I'm really more interested in watching it for that. I
Well, they,
predicted we don't have a betting line, but I'm predicting there's going to be a pregame scuffle.
yeah.
I think that happens. Kelsey and them already showed you that they're going to kick the kicker's tee and all that other kind of stuff that they did this
Well, you know all about scuffles, you and the star. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know all about that.
Well, I'll tell everybody about the conversation I had to have with you. Um, how that went. Let you know it's just this is going to be a good matchup. I
Yeah.
think in the league. So I'm
Well,
looking.
I'll tell you, there've been some Super Bowls that were, just not really a lot of fun to watch. But I think this one's going to be one that people are going to enjoy watching. I think it's going to be a battle, and we'll see what happens. I pick Kansas City, but who knows? It's 6 of one, half a dozen another. Both of them got good players, so it's going to be interesting to see.
You know,
Well,
ain't no way that the NFL is letting Taylor Swift not win a Super Bowl.
We got a conspiracy theorist here.
You know they're selling their jerseys and stuff too. But here's what I'm thinking though. I think the 49ers may have a little. It's not poster material, but they're complaining about the turf that they got out there. The
Yeah, I was
grass
meaning to
and-
Oh,
text
yeah.
Charles
The
about
sun
that because
and
that's the
that's-
school he was
hey,
at.
That's correct. That is
Hey.
correct.
Listen, that's a good way to get yourself ready.
All
You
right,
know, feel
hey.
like you're the underdog.
You know
Even
what?
though you're a favorite.
This is not the first time this year that somebody's coach and another team has complained about UNLV and how they've handled letting other teams practice in their facilities.
So why do we keep going there then?
Look, I don't know.
But anyway, and who does that you lay grass on top of turf?
Yeah.
I know they said all these experts say that it's supposed to work, but where does it root into? And how the hell do you pull it up after the game?
And then still have usable turf at the end.
Yeah, what is this?
That's it. That's what they do at UNLV? Or is that what they do at that's not the Raiders. They don't do that, right?
No, UNLV.
UNLV. Oh. Yeah.
So they laid grass over their turf for the Chiefs. I'm sorry. for the
that's what they
49ers.
did, you're saying. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
that's next level cheap.
No,
Yeah.
listen, that's why the
Now-
turf was so bad.
Now I know UNLV probably ain't got the money like that, but if that's the case, then you probably shouldn't be hosting the 49ers.
Well, but
Yeah.
they're like saying the league kind of sanctioned this and said it was okay, but then they got the monsoon and the rain, so it was just slop.
Terrible.
Yeah, that kills it right there for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm surprised they didn't make a move or change. They've not let teams practice on fields like that when the Eagles field was really bad,
Right.
and things that you don't want to get anybody hurt. Not in
Right, for
practice
sure.
before the Super Bowl. I can't imagine what that would.
Oh yeah,
Golly,
absolutely.
2 minutes.
you know. Okay, that's a 2-minute warning.
I'm sorry. 1 minute. It's 54 seconds.
1 minute, 53 seconds. I'm looking at it right here.
I see that big old thing out there. You know, but you know it's going to be a very good one. So for those of y'all that are already sitting in the chat, man, we're excited about this. I think it's going to be a tremendous one. We got a very, very good lineup today. You already see him. I know we expose our guests a lot of times like this, but that's okay because that's what we do on Teague's Take, right? We're gonna be talking about Alabama football. A couple players that we got to break down with their film, but we want this to be an educational piece. We've got a lot of comments and questions about, hey, what really happens in the off season for college coaches? What do they do besides just going on recruiting trail? I know that you guys want to know that. Shoot, I want to know too because I didn't know what the hell they did when I was there playing. They just got on our ass, made us lift weights, and told us to go to class. So I don't know what else they're doing, but they're getting paid all year round. So we wanted to get some expert advice from someone who's been in college football a long time, but also in the National Football League as a position coach, coordinator, and as a head coach. And so we want to be able to pick his brain a little bit too, because we always wonder, we're all experts and say people can get in the draft, you know, but what do they really look for? You know, we're going to be watching these little huddle films. Surely they're not watching huddle films to try to get someone to the league. So how does that whole process work? What do the position coaches have to say about it? Do they have any say so at all? Or is it all on general managers and player personnel people? I don't know. Let's figure it out. But before we do, we need to officially start the show. So it's Teague's Take, and we're starting right now. Man, Man, it's such a great day today. I'm so excited about the show, as you guys just heard on the pre-show. I'm excited because I get to talk to a mentor, someone has helped me in more ways than he actually has known. And particularly when I have long days like this, where you work all day and then you want to talk about football, Alabama football, what's happening, what's going on. There's so many different things happening. When today is the National Signing Day, so there's a whole lot of movement, a lot of kids being affected today. So we want to do our best by giving you the scoop, the real information about a lot of different things. So we're thanking you all for joining our show tonight here on Teague's Take. Make sure that you are subscribing to our channel. Hit that like button as well. If you're in from the Bama Standard, thank you very much for being a part of this as well. Hit the subscribe button over there on their side too. Is a tremendous partnership that we have where we can come together with a lot of other Alabama players and fans and things to put together something like this. We feel like this is truly a blessing to us. I need to go ahead and bring in JT, the producer of the show. He is my son as well. JT, thank you for all the hard work that you do. See, y'all don't know what JT does. We were already sitting here before. Some of y'all were in the pre-show, but the pre-show, JT was talking about what is the thing? The SSL
Yeah,
thing
there are.
reject. What is
Yeah,
this?
the SSL certificate is actually it's not. There's nothing wrong with the certificate. There's the problem is somewhere else, and I spent like 3 hours today trying to figure it out, and I ran out of time. So we just gotta you gotta deal sometimes.
So is that like called halftime adjustment where it wasn't working and you had to go to something else? Is that what you're saying?
It's more like a mid-drive adjustment. It's more like you had a plan, and then you kick the ball off, touch back, they script in their plays. You kind of know what you're gonna do, and next thing you know, they're on the 10-yard line, and you're like, all right, we're gonna have to do something else and make a goal line stand, which is how this show is being produced today.
I think our
Bend
guest,
don't break.
yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I think our coach would say that would be called bend, don't break. Just don't let them score or don't let them defeat you or whatnot. We'll win this thing 3-0 like Alabama used to do back in the days, but offenses are so different nowadays. Okay, but I want to bring in another guy. Like I said, this is a mentor. Someone I actually got to see not too long ago. I can't remember the date. Maybe he can help me remember exactly what it was. He was out here in Dallas because he was on the show with me on CBS that you guys know that I do, the Cowboys game day, where he actually got to come on and be a co-host essentially during that day. But this guy, he has so much experience on all levels. Coached in college for a very long time. I know you guys only want to know how it was when he was with Miami and he was coaching with Jimmy Johnson, you know. But I also remember that when I came to Dallas Cowboys in 1996, that he was here on the staff, and he's someone that welcomed me and started to teach me things that I thought I already knew coming out of Alabama or um, from the Green Bay Packers, and he really elevated my game. A lot of people, JT, asked me, where was it the best that you like to play? And I say, hey, Green Bay was kind of fun to traditions and things, but my game actually got better once I got here around the coaching staff. So, as a defensive back coach, and then as a defensive coordinator, and then as a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, he gave me a lot of opportunities to progress to be the best player that I could be while I was in the National Football League. We only get him for a certain amount of time tonight, and I don't want to waste his time. I need for you, JT, and everybody to give Dave Campo a big round of applause for being on our show today.
I like that. That's good. I like those applause. Listen, I got a lot more. I got a lot more applause when I was an assistant than I did as a head coach. So I'm happy with that, right there.
That's right. So Brian Turner just said this in here. So we probably need to tell everybody where you're at and what you're doing. So someone just made the reference and said, hey, what happened? Are you coaching in Jacksonville? Did you coach in Jacksonville? Why don't you tell us what you're up to right now, coach? And
But
give
when when I coached with the Jaguars, I ended up down here in North Florida, and we ended up liking it. So I came back here, and I'm really, I'm not a big golfer. I'm not a big, hobby guy. So I got involved with the radio here, and I'm doing sports radio in Jacksonville with the Jaguar flagship station, 1010XL 96.5 FM. And I'm doing some TV stuff. So I'm around the game, but my stomach and my heart is doing okay because I'm not doing that coaching stuff anymore.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and thank you for taking the time to do this. And
You
JT,
bet.
I'm going to go ahead and jump on this just because we're right here now. What is a better moment than now? Because he's talking about the beach. Coach, do you go to the beach? You live out in Jacksonville. Do you ever spend time out on the water? Yes or no?
Listen, I don't go near the water because there's sharks out there.
Oh, well, great. You can
yeah,
have it at your house.
yeah. Well,
That's
listen,
right.
yeah. No, I love the beach, but I do more shark tooth hunting than I do in the water.
Well, let me change your mind real fast because we are proudly brought to you today by Beaches LLC, a company that you need to hear about. So if you can give us 1 minute to listen to us about this, you won't have to go to the ocean anymore. You can find it right in your backyard.
There you go.
Let me tell you about Beaches LLC. Yes, Beaches LLC is your source in the state of Alabama and the Florida Panhandle for exquisite quartz sand beach pools by Biodesign USA. A Biodesign beach sculpted pool is crafted with beach entries, customized seating areas, and swimming zones, and they all can be personalized to your swimming needs. The Biodesign swimming pool is meant to immerse you in your surrounding environment. The illusion of a truly beautiful beach can be created and extended onto the patio area, creating one seamless shore environment. Let them help you turn your dream backyard escape into reality with an eco-friendly, more durable, less time, and less expensive to maintain, totally customizable pool. To learn more about turning your dream into a reality, please visit their website at www.yourbackyardbeach.com. Boy, I tell y'all, man, my setup is freaking flawless, man, on these damn things. Dave, you don't get to hear me every week when I gotta introduce that. It is pretty amazing, right? What they do. So we can't get that. Well, I guess they do have some kind of reps up here in Texas or whatnot, but this is based down there like that. You really should look into that stuff because it's pretty absolutely amazing what the cities do. Okay, so y'all okay with just go ahead and jumping into this because I know we got a lot of Alabama fans in. Roll Tide to everybody, and I kind of want to start talking about off-season coach a little bit. So, how many years did you actually coach in college football? Can you? I could look it up on Wikipedia, but you have 10,
26,
15,
26
years.
years.
Okay, so when you're talking about college offseason, most of us, all we ever think about is the recruiting, particularly now. You know, you're trying to get
Right.
people in. But what's really happening in the coaches' offices? Can you give us 2 or 3 things that you're really kind of focusing on in the offseason as a coach?
Well, first of all, things have changed over the years. And, I stay pretty close with some of the guys that are still in college football. And, obviously, you guys know that change has happened with this NIL and the transfer portal. So, really, the number one thing is still recruiting. And it's become harder and harder because not only do you have to recruit the guys, in high school, but you also have to recruit your own players because of the transfer portal. So a big part of the head coach's job is recruiting now more so than any other. It puts more on the assistant coaches and dealing with some of the other stuff that we'll talk about. But the head coach right now has to make sure that he puts the program together, that he knows that he's going to lose some guys in the portal. He's got to make sure, for example, if he's going to take receivers, he might take, knowing that he's going to lose a couple, he may take 2 high school receivers, but then he's already in his mind taking 2 guys out of the portal to make sure that they fill the roster up. So this whole thing it's turned almost into the NFL and college football now, because it's you got to keep your guys happy. You don't know exactly who's going to be on your roster from year to year, so you have to manage that. So that's probably number one with a head coach right now. But the other things that you're dealing with, obviously, is you got to get your football team ready. So the off season is when you get your lifting, your running. Most have a great weight training program, and they probably work 4 days a week. 3 of them in the lifting and the mat drills and some of those kind of things. And then the other part that you're dealing with also is now they're doing stuff, they can get together and run plays without the football. So the running plays and those kind of things, they can run through, and most of them do that once a week. And it gives you a chance to kind of run some of the plays and get familiar with it. I would say that's probably the second thing. And then the head coach has to obviously manage that. And then the third thing I would say is they're still involved in fundraising. So a head coach is like a CEO. He's out there schmoozing with the boosters. And there's a lot of, right now, the whole thing is to get modern stadiums and get everything cleaned up in that area. So, they're out, going out and meeting boosters and talking about the program and trying to get money raised. So a head coach today is less about football than he used to be, in my opinion. I think he has to have good coordinators, and even he has to deal with that a little bit, because if you're good, you lose coaches. And, now all of a sudden you go from, your playbook changes if you go from one coordinator to another. So all of that has to be done as well, George.
Yes, okay. And I thank you for that. And I want you to dive into something a little bit for me, because you were talking about the roster and the transfer portal and things of that nature. So how does the process really work when you're trying to, and I know it's different now, so maybe it's not a fair question, but what do you guys do as a staff to really say, these are the guys that we need next by position? You're trying to build a roster. You got a big board up there. There's like a draft room where you said we need more wide receivers and we more
Absolutely.
linemen, or what is that full staff stuff that's going on there, or what?
Yeah, you meet as a staff all the time, and obviously you look at the cut-ups from the season, which is the same thing you do in the NFL. You look at the areas of deficiency with what you did offensively and defensively, but some of that is based on the talent you have. So if you know who you're going to lose, guys that are going to be seniors initially, but then the transfer portal changes that a little bit. So, you go up and you say, hey, look, we have to have 8, 9 receivers, whatever it is. And we're probably going to lose. You have to guess a little bit and say we're probably going to lose a couple here or there. That's how you put the roster together. So you need 5 running backs. You need so many linemen, whatever. And that's all up on the board. And you just talk it through. And I think that's a kind of a community decision between the staff. And you call on your assistant coaches in that area too. The guy that's coaching the DBs, he knows what he needs. He knows if we've got cover corners, we're planning on playing man coverage. We don't have any in the building. We better go out and get them.
Mm-hmm. So, sound like you had a little bit of. Okay, I'm sorry. This might be disrespectful, but I gotta say it, just because this is an Alabama show and we beat up on Alabama in Miami in 1989. I think y'all were kind of used to the NIL deals back in the day and paying players. Whatever. No, forget it.
Hey, remember it was the convicts down there. You know what I mean? So you had Miami Vice rolling on around that time back in the day. I tell you what, that's an interesting question though, George, or a different comment, because we had 90% graduation rate with our guys at the University of Miami. And I don't think people really understand that. I think everybody had the opinion that there were some guys like Michael Irvin down there that were kind of on the edge. And we had some of those kind of guys, but we didn't have any bad guys. And I say that without any question. We had guys that loved football, which you did at Alabama, I guarantee you, or else you wouldn't have been successful. But we had guys that loved the game, that were willing to work. And they also, we stayed on them. Jimmy stayed on them really a lot with what's going on academically. And that's a big deal, the study halls and all those kind of things. Jimmy wasn't going to, it was all about discipline and making sure that our guys understood what we expected from those guys when we were here.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you, Coach. So for you as y'all that just came into the show, one of the things I was talking with Coach Campo was my time that I got to spend with him with the Cleveland Browns. Butch Davis was the head coach at the time, and watching how study sessions worked, for lack of better words, not necessarily with the players, but with coaches, right? Campo being a coordinator, and he's trying to build out his defense. My question to you is, when it gets into the offseason like this, when it gets into the playbook, how much are you emphasizing? What kind of film are you watching? How are you adjusting there? And how much different is that from when you're in season, opposed to off season when it comes to actually designing your playbook?
Well, first of all, you take every defense situation, all those things are broken down, on a computer. So you get an opportunity to watch every play during the season that happened inside the 20-yard line, for example. And I'm talking defense here, but it's both sides of the ball. But, you have that situation. You have all the short yardage plays. You have all of the third down and 2 to 5 and 6 to 10, whatever it is. You've got it broken down into segments. And you sit down as a staff. And what we used to do, and again, remember, George, it's been a long time since I was in college football, but it was very similar to what we did in the NFL. We would spend half the day looking at cut-ups and seeing our deficiencies and the things that we did really well. And if we needed to tweak something, or if we needed to add something, that's one of the things that we did in the off season. And we'd spend half the day doing that. And then the rest of the day would be on what was going on with our team and recruiting and all that kind of stuff. So you look at every play that you had during the year, and if you were struggling in short yardage, that also was a situation where you might have to go out and get a different style running back, or in recruiting, if you weren't getting that third down and 1, and they didn't have anybody that was busting it up in there or whatever. So it all came down to, I don't think the playbook changed that much over the years, but it certainly was tweaked, in the off season to maximize the things you did well and minimize the things that you did poorly.
No, that's awesome and very well put, Coach. And I had the opportunity to go up to speak to one of our friends and buddies, Coach Mike Zimmer. A couple of years ago, I went up to Minnesota as an intern up there, and it's just still amazing to me what you guys do in the off season when you're meeting as a defensive staff. And I wouldn't say it got contentious. That's not the right word, but there was so much discussion about why, when you're talking about deficiencies, what can you do to make it different? Does a person need to be in a different spot? Does the terminology have to be different? Is it just the player not getting it?
Right.
So there's so many things that go into that for you to be a successful coordinator.
I can give you a great example. When I was at the University of Kansas, we had a guy by the name of Ja'Cory Shepard. And Ja'Cory is there, and he's got actually in Dallas now area, he has a training facility now. Love the guy, just a great young man. But Ja'Cory was his first year as a freshman. He was a really pretty good receiver for Kansas, okay? And this was before I got there. And he had it seemed like a pretty good future. So when we got there, Charlie Weiss had just come on in there as the head coach at Kansas, new staff. And so he didn't like Jacory. He didn't feel like Jacory was good enough. And so he said, this guy can't play. Well, I took a look at him and I said, hey, listen, if you don't want him, give him to me. I'll take him. He can play in the secondary, I guarantee you. And so that discussion went there. He said, he'll never play. He'll do this and that. And so I said, I'll trade you so-and-so as a receiver. You give me Jacory Shepard. Well, Jacory Shepard ended up for 2 years, was all Big 12, one of the 2 years, went to the Philadelphia Eagles and played 3 years for the Eagles and as a corner. And so those kind of discussions are what you're talking about. You're saying, hey, look, I see a guy over there that might be really good at my position. Let's make the switch. And of course, you have to talk to the player. He has to understand. I don't think Jacory was real excited about it at first because, obviously he was a receiver and he thought he did pretty well the first year. But I said, Jacory, you're going to be buried on the depth chart. You're going to be 6th or 7th and you're not going to play. Come on over with me. We'll see what you can do. And I'm telling you, you got the athletic ability to do this. And that's how it kind of goes.
Yes. Well, I'm going to go ahead and parse coach's words for him. Wide receivers, y'all soft. Y'all need to come on over here. But anyway.
Is that one of your segues? Is that what you're doing?
Well, yeah. No, actually, what I want to segue to is evaluating talent, JT. So even you and I have been talking about this on how you evaluate talent in high school. And we're going to do this a little bit, but I really wanted to, maybe hear from both of you guys when you're looking at guys. How do you know someone has it? So I'll ask JT this first, right?
Don't ask me.
No, so you're looking at JP2, right? And you got to do it somewhat. And you're looking at your defense and you're trying to figure out, okay, is this the best corner I got? Well, I'm not talking about for a recruiting spot because you got to look inside of this. When you're going there, and so now, and I'm not saying you got to be right about this, okay, JT? That's not what I'm doing. I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but Dave Campo is the coach from Kansas, and he's coming in and he's going to ask you who you got that I need to look at. So you got to have some kind of something to be able to say, man, either this guy can play at Kansas or Miami or not. So what is a high school coach, do you think, is the best thing for a high school coach to be able to do to truly evaluate the talent that he has so he can sell that kid to a college coach?
Okay. Well, when you're talking about schools like that, first you just gotta the first thing that came to mind was, is he even big enough? Because I got a corner on the team right now that I think has all the ball skills, all of the football IQ, all that kind of stuff. But he's like, I think he's shorter than me right now. I think he's 5'6". Now he's only a sophomore, so who knows what's going to happen. But his mom is about as tall as my mom is, so I don't know that he's gonna. I don't know that he's getting to know 5'10", 6 foot. But the other piece is, once he has those measurables that you may be looking for, usually what I look for after that is kind of his footwork. And then the simplest thing is, does he find himself around the ball? Because I had we actually made a change midway through the season. I had a free safety who at the time I thought was the best guy that we had, because the guy behind him he joined the program late. So at that point, he just didn't know the playbook as well as the guy that we had starting. But then after about halfway through the season, once everything was level, we kind of had a competition during practice. We're just giving the guys reps. And one thing you notice is just every time there's a tackle to be made or the ball is in the air, whether or not he's supposed to be there or not, he is. And I think that goes a long way. It's just knowing where the football is. Um,
That's funny.
yeah, Kelly.
That's good. Yeah.
That's funny. No,
Yeah.
I'm laughing. We're laughing at this comment. It says "easy on the short girl jokes." JT. He said his mom and her are the same height.
Yeah, right. Consuela. How tall is Consuela?
Well,
She says
how
she's 5
tall
foot.
is she? Yeah, or
Yeah.
how tall does she say she is? Yeah.
She says she's 5 foot. I we'll see. That's to be determined. But yeah, so I think anytime you've got a guy that's just around the ball all the time, that's a very good sign. Then the next step to that is not only being around the ball, but then if you're a defensive back, which we're going to look at today, can you get your hand on the ball? So that's kind of step 2. Are you always there? And then step 2 is, can you get your hand on the ball? Meaning PBUs, or just in the vicinity. Maybe it doesn't count as a PBU, but just something that, you hear them footsteps and receivers all of a sudden got alligator arms and don't want to catch the ball. And then
Soft.
Yeah.
step 3 is then
Typical receiver.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then step 3 from there is now you've been around the ball, you've got your hand on the ball, but then can you repossess the football?
Right.
And there's other things in there that I'm skipping over. Change of direction,
Yeah, there's tons of
balance, all that kind of stuff. But I think those are the 3 easiest things to pick out. Is just, are you around the ball? Can you get your hands on it? And then can you take it away from somebody?
Yeah. So let me tell you guys this, and I'm going to follow back up with Coach Campo here in a second. As a head coach, all the schools I've been at, particularly JP2, when we had a lot of guys that were going Division One. Right. So on my prospect sheet, and let's see if Campo thinks this was good or not, but most of the coaches that I were around was like it. So I had my rankings sheet that I actually did because I thought I was a pretty good evaluator. I was doing enough of film study, trying to figure out how to be an NFL scout and all this kind of stuff. So I kind of learned how to write up all these things, right? So when I had my guys, I'd have my little sheet. Because coaches ask for a prospect sheet, right? I think they ask us that, JT, to find out if we're lying, to actually see if we know how good our guys are, if we're just going to try to sell them, right? But I will go ahead and rank them. Hey, I think he's Division One. I think this guy's Division Two. I think this guy's Division Three. This guy's JUCO. But then I had the other little deal that I'd started to put money. I call JT money, so I had my little money sign. Said, hey, this guy got this money sign on here. Hey, I'm thinking he's gonna make it to the pros. And they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no, this dude's good. He's a freshman. He's 6'6", wide receiver, already running the 4.5, whatever it is. He's probably gonna go there, right? And so what I did find was that I thought a lot of coaches really appreciated that because I wasn't trying to sell them on the 5'6" corner. If it was, a power 5 coming in, they're like, well, we don't want that dude. I'm not going to bring this back to my head coach. So give me your dude. So I would at least do that. That didn't mean they didn't take a look at him. I gave them the whole sheet, said, hey, you can go through here and have your GAs look at every single one of these films.
Yeah,
but these
reevaluate.
these are the 5 that I'm saying, I think. And then I would wait, and then I would call them back, and I would say, okay, what did you think about those 5 guys? And they'd have to give me some kind of talk, whether or not, because all I wanted to do was pique their interest, show their highlight films on things like that. So I thought it went pretty well. So, Coach, I want to take this to the other side. We just kind of hit on this. What do we think from high school to college? What about get to the NFL? Now you're an NFL coach, and you're watching. I don't know. What do you guys do? You're watching college film. What does that whole deal look like? You're going to check out these guys from Alabama. What are y'all looking for? What is it that you're trying to say, hey, this guy fits at whatever team I'm coaching for?
Well, first of all, the first thing you look at in my mind, and we have everybody has those sheets, not the, first round, second round, whatever. It's an evaluation sheet, where you're talking about hands, speed, quickness, acceleration, burst, whatever it is. The first thing I look for was size and speed. if I've got a guy that's got the size that I'm looking for and it's got the speed to go with it, then I'm going to take a really good look at that guy. Now, then it comes down to what JT was talking about. Is he a guy? Is he a dog? And I'm looking for dogs. I'm looking for guys that want to get around the ball, just like JT was talking about. I want guys that are going to finish plays. I want guys that are, if I'm looking at a guy and I'm trying to decide whether or not he can play for us, I want a guy that's going to be relentless at what he does. And so those three things right there, I'm not even looking at a guy unless they have those three things. Now it comes down to foot quickness, acceleration, burst, those kind of things. And then you're looking at
That's how you start kind of separating people.
His technique. Yeah. That now, who is this guy? What picture does he paint? Is he a guy that is, can change direction? He's got the hips to change direction, but not only that, can he burst? Can he come out? How fast can he come out? Every position is different. There's a different skill set, obviously, for a defensive lineman than there is for a DB. But if you're just talking about DBs, I want a guy that's going to be around the football, a guy that's got the burst ability, because that's the biggest thing. The receiver knows where he's going. Mm-hmm. The DB doesn't. So he's got to be a guy that has that instinct and the burst out of his pedal or whatever. And you as a coach have to decide once you get him, what his strength is and what his weakness is. For example, if you've got a corner that can't pedal and you got him, then you side slide him. There's no reason to take a guy that can't do it and try to make him do it. Yeah. And so if you want a guy that's going to be a backpedaler, then you better make sure he's got backpedal ability.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick, because I've been saying this, and I think I have to convince some people that backpedaling is a skill that not everybody has, and
Correct.
You can't teach it to everybody.
Correct.
So there's some corners in typically corners, because I would say if you're a safety and can't backpedal, then
right.
you're a corner now.
Forget it. Right. Yeah.
But there are some corners that either have to shuffle, bail, or kick slide, or
Correct.
whatever you want to do, because they just, for whatever reason, can't backpedal. Do you see that being kind of an issue even when you get up to the pro level of just like, hey, this dude's an athlete, but he can't backpedal, so we're just going to do something a little bit different with him?
Yeah, I don't think you see it as much in the pros. What you have a problem evaluating, from what I see, is when you have a college kid that's shuffling. You don't know whether or not he can pedal or not. That's where the workouts come in and all those kind of things, because some guys, that's just what they teach. They don't teach a back pedal. They just, a college coach might just teach that shuffle, slide, I call it, slide, pedal, whatever it is. That's an issue, because you can't tell for sure whether or not guy can do it or not. But if you have a guy that can't pedal, then you got to do something with him. He's yours. You got to let him have a chance to be successful. But talking about what you're looking for, Darren Woodson very well, George, right?
Yes.
You played with him.
I know that guy. I hope he gets in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Darren Woodson, I went out to look at Sparks, the cornerback, to play in the NFL.
Felipe.
Out at Arizona State. And I'm watching, but you go to the workouts. I think you probably did the same thing. Well, not at the high school level, but at the college level, when the scouts come in for a workout, it usually is in the afternoon. And in the morning, they have a film session set up where the scouts can go in and just run through game film, And so I'm out there along with a bunch of scouts, and I'm watching the game film, and I'm watching this kid Woodson, and we didn't have him. We had him on our list, kind of like what you were talking about. He wasn't at the top of that list. Felipe Sparks was, but he was down there about 5 or 6. And I'm watching him play Willie linebacker, and he is running all over the field. I mean, when the ball gets somewhere, he's standing next to him, JT, just like we were talking about, right? Well, some of the scouts are sitting there and they're going, I don't know about this Woodson guy. He doesn't make that many tackles. He's around the ball, but he doesn't, I don't see him, he's not standing out. Well, I'm watching him run and I'm looking at his size, 6'2.5", about 218, 220. And so we go out and I said, look, Darren, I'm going to work you out as a DB. So he said, no problem. Well, we get to the 40-yard line and the 40-yard dash, and I'm standing at the end. He comes blowing out of the end, runs a 4.37 at 6'2.5", 220 pounds. That's what I'm talking about when I say size, speed, and around the football. Well, he comes into us. We end up taking him in the second round. He has the career tackle record for the Cowboys and still has it. And he was around the ball all the time. And that's kind of where now we had to figure out what are we going to do with him. Well, he started on all special teams his first year. He was a backup safety. The next year, Jimmy Johnson walks in. He says, Coach, we're going to start Darren Woodson at safety next year. And I said, well, Jimmy, I'm not sure he's ready. He's a rookie. I was a little nervous about having a young guy back there. He looked at me and he said, Dave, we're starting Darren Woodson at safety next year. And I looked at him and I said, Jimmy, that's exactly what I was going to say. We're starting him at safety next year. And then, so I guess my point is, George and JT, scouting is not as an exact science. It's not an exact science. When you're looking at guys, you're trying to determine where does he fit with your guys, and you have to have about 4 or 5 things like you're talking about that puts him in a position to where, I think I can do something with this guy. Because like George, you said it earlier, when you came into the league, you thought you knew about everything there was to know coming out of Alabama because you had good coaches, you had great teams, but when you get to the NFL, it doesn't end there. It ends at the end of your career because you're going to continue to learn all the way through. So if you've got that basis that you're looking for and a guy fits into that, then you have to have the ability to say, I can see this guy 3 years from now, what he's going to do, how he's going to improve, what's going to happen from there.
Okay, excellent. So we got to get to a film here, real quick because I know we're going around. Just because you're giving us so much information, thank you, Coach, for opening up and giving us a lot of this. I know the people in the chat are loving this. You got people saying the college kids need to hear this, and it's great. But I got one final question, just because you brought this up. One final question because you were talking about not knowing if kids can really backpedal or not. So,
Right.
Based upon that, will you, as an NFL coach, write off, like a better word, or not go visit someone if someone uses a scheme that doesn't necessarily fit or a technique? So if you're saying, hey, I want to know if they're backpedal, but they only do shuffle, 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 are you going to take the chance and just go figure it out and say, can we change them? Or are you kind of like, I'm going to go over here because I know they're already teaching it?
How big and how fast he is, and is he around the football?
If he's just kind of average on the fringe, you ain't going. Is what you said.
There's guys. I can give you another example. Everson Walls couldn't backpedal, but he could intercept 11 balls in one season.
Right.
So there's other things that come in, but again, you have to. The thing that you have to have as a high school coach, I would think, and as a college coach and a pro coach, you have to have a vision. You have to have a vision for kids, and it's the same as a coordinator. You have to have a vision of what you want that football team to look like when you bring a guy in there. And it's not just about how good he is. It's about, does he fit your vision of what you're looking for with your team? The best coaches in the NFL, and I think Jimmy Johnson deserves the Hall of Fame because he knew what he wanted his team to look like, and that's the guys that we brought in. He didn't, a lot of times he wouldn't even look at a guy on film. He would say, how big is he? How fast is he? Can he play for us? And we knew what he was looking for, what his vision was for everything. So to me, that's the biggest thing right there.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you all for being very patient with us. I know that we were supposed to go about 30 minutes, and that one was about 45 almost. 40 minutes or something.
Yeah, my
my
computer just said that it's getting low on the battery. So we're gonna get moving.
Yeah. So let's get to this film. So this is going to be Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., right? And I know coaches kind of looked at this a little bit. So we just kind of want to get your take when you're evaluating film and you're looking at this, and we're trying to figure out how this guy's going to fit as a safety.
Okay.
At Alabama. What did you see from this film? I don't know.
Well, here's a perfect picture of it right here. That's him running down the sideline, running away from guys in different angles, and having vision to be able to get himself into the open field. This film, I watched the whole tape, obviously, and my feeling on this kid is that he's got size and he's really got speed, and a lot of it is kick return. And a lot of kick return is instincts, and I think this kid has instincts. He's got lineage, but look at him run right there. Here's a great one right here.
Yeah.
He's gonna run away from everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So
the cut.
Yeah. So when you're watching this film here, when you were a college coach, and JT can keep it in the run, you can jump in whenever you want. When you see this, when someone's trying to pique your interest, how many films do you guys actually get, and how much time do you give it before you turn it off? If you're thinking.
Well, a DB you look at more than you look at a linebacker. If a linebacker doesn't make a bunch of tackles right away, he's not going to. When you're talking Power 5 now, you're talking about Miami or Alabama or whatever. When you're looking at a kid at linebacker, he's got to show up right away because he's at the focal point of what's happening. Okay, a DB you have to look at a little bit more because there's a lot of different situations that he's in. For example, this kid, you're going to watch every tape on this kid because you don't see him like you do a corner. You see him as a safety, but you see
run
speed.
That back, JT, run that
no,
back,
no,
JT,
yeah, run that back. Yeah,
Oh,
and listen,
God.
I didn't have to look at this tape too long because I could see the speed and the size, and he also is a hitter. So look at this. I mean,
that's ridiculous, boss.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that this guy's got a chance. And again, when you look at a safety, and George, you were different. A safety, you look at more for instincts and obviously ability to run and hit. Whereas a corner, you're looking almost more athletic ability. Just you're going against guys that know where they're going and one-on-one and that type of thing. A little bit more as a corner. I love this kid. I don't think that you could. I asked you earlier, is he a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star? I really don't care about the 5, 4, or 3, but I could see why he would be a 3-star in comparison to a 5-star because you don't see on this huddle tape as much of what he does technically. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's more, you see that size and speed and lineage. His dad played in the league for a long time. I can see why Alabama recruited this kid.
Okay. Well, that's good. So then you answered it. So I'm not, I just want the viewers to know that one of the questions we have for them is how do you know with so much special team stuff on here, how could it relate to being a defensive back or a wide receiver or whatever? I don't know. I guess it could be anywhere, but you see that. Ooh,
I think they put this stuff on there because, his tape, you're going to have a vision for this kid because of the intangibles that I'm talking about. Because you're not going to see, if they put all of his tape on that huddle tape, you probably wouldn't see, other than the hitting ability, you're going to have to look at this kid and say, hey, He's a good-looking kid. He's the kind of kid we have in our program. This is what we need.
That's pretty awesome. I like that play right there too, where he just uses his speed to set things up. And just running past people. I mean, he's very instinctive. I think he's going to be great. Of course, he's got the family history. Dad being an All-Pro and all this kind of stuff, and that I'm sure that helps. Do you really look at that a little bit?
Well, I think we lost Coach. I think his computer might have died. So
no, he died on us. Well, it's okay if he died. I think we're about at the end of this one. Close to it anyway. If he pops back in, great. But JT, I think Campo said a lot of great things on here, really, particularly about this one. And I wish we could have had him to actually talk about Zabien Brown a little bit, because I know there's some good things that he wanted to say about him as well. But this, just looking to see how fast this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
And instinctive like that, that's a pretty, pretty amazing play just for him to see the ball.
I think so far. So this is, I know Coach said that he had watched this before. This is my first time seeing it. I'd seen highlights from Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. before, and most of it was, I don't think this was created by him. This was something that once he signed in the early window, Alabama had put together, the Alabama's social media team. And most of it was tackling and showing how physical he was. So this is my first time really seeing his speed. But so far, this is actually one of my plays that I think is most impressive.
Tracking the ball, going up and getting it, high pointing it. That one?
Yes. And then not falling over. Like this is a play usually where you got to go up and get it and they both fall over and you get the ball at the one and he keeps his balance, and I don't know whether or not he takes his house or not, but being able to now turn it kind of more of into a touchback. I guess he gets out to the 35 maybe instead of just falling over at the one, I think is kind of huge. That's a great play.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just so you guys let you know, Coach is old school. I don't even know how old Coach really is. Not saying that in a bad way, but he's definitely older than me. So he did say he was sorry. He just texted me. He probably don't have a doggone cord for that old.
Well, he had somebody in there helping him get set up earlier.
Yeah, his wife or somebody. He said, "I'm putting the cord on it." All right.
Well, yeah. Well, we can stall for him.
Back, or we'll replay it. Sorry about that I'm talking while I'm texting, but come on back when you're ready. That's what I'm going to put. All right, so that'd be good because I know you guys will want to hear what he has to say about this other gentleman as well. Okay, JT, what you were talking about. What I like about it too when it comes to this film is they actually had some offensive plays on here.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of brushed through some of those things. Not that you have to do it all, but at least shows a different side of you. So you're seeing hitting, you're seeing the speed, versatility.
Slide it.
Oh,
there he
that
is.
sounds like he's back. Okay. Welcome back, Coach. I guess
George.
you can't hear us yet. Yes, sir.
Now what?
David, I can't.
I'm on it, but there's nothing.
Oh, what's he missing?
Sign back in.
I don't know. What are you missing?
It says on air, but nothing's happening.
Oh, we're gonna put that on a clip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him on his mobile. Watch this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be funny.
Let's see.
Hmm?
I'll write that down as a
I'm back
touchdown.
on.
Yeah, I'll do that because he's gonna hear. Now we're gonna hear our phone conversation too. This is gonna be great.
George, can you see me?
Tell me you're on the big one.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
You got the headphones on.
I'm on the phone now.
Tell me.
Yeah.
I apologize. The darn thing just shut off on me.
I know, but
I'm back on the computer. If you want to go back on there, I'm on it. But
yeah, JT, we see you, but they were trying to refresh to see if we can hear you because we can see you, but we can't say something.
I can hear him.
hello, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, I want to hang up. Can you hear us through the computer or no? Through your headphones.
I can hear through the headphones. Yes.
Okay, excellent. I'm hanging up then. All right, can you hear us now, Coach? Ah, JT, see if
Hello?
he can hear you.
Yeah, hello. We're here. We can hear you. Thumbs up. I don't know if he can.
Nah, he can. When he's saying through his headphones, a cell phone might be connected to his headphones. Let me call him back, or maybe I need to mute myself so he doesn't get confused because I can hear him.
I'm supposed to have like a technical difficulties page that I can put up here, but I ain't got one of those. So those in the chat, you're just gonna have to watch us struggle here for a second.
Yeah, just hold on. I got to work with my old coach. I'm gonna turn my mic off for a second.
George, I was hearing it through my hearing aids, not the.
You can't.
I apologize, guys.
No, it's okay. Can you? I hear you through the phone. I can see you on the screen. We can hear you on the screen. You
Okay.
can't hear us.
I can only hear you guys on the phone.
Okay. Hold on.
The hearing aids that got me.
Yeah, JT, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear the phone too, though.
Yeah. Okay. No, my systems are set. I don't know why he can't. I don't know what to tell him, Coach. JT.
Mm-hmm. Video.
Just sit tight, Campbell. We try to see if there's something on our end. And we're sorry about the people that sit in the chat.
Can ask him if he can actually see the.
Campbell, can you see the film?
No,
No.
Okay.
no, I can only see me on there.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, that's different. Do I need to refresh?
No. Well, they can hear you, so I can put you two back in. And you guys
They can hear Campo.
chat.
He can't hear. Okay. Okay, so leave your phone on, Coach.
Okay, I got the phone on.
Because the chat can hear you. But the only way you can hear me is through my phone.
Yeah, I can hear you through the phone, but I can see me on the screen, but I can't see anything else.
Oh, so JT, I'm not going to be show the Zabien film with him to see it because he won't be able to see it.
Right.
Okay, well, let's just do this, Coach, because you saw the film of Zabien Brown. Let's go to him.
Okay, yes.
We're not going to. Uh-oh.
Ask him if he can click back on the link.
Just click back on the link, Coach Campo. Can you go out and click back on the link? Yeah, go back out and click back on the link. Just hit the red button, the red phone button on the screen. It should close you out.
You could probably hit refresh.
Yeah, just hit refresh. That's probably better. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Okay, I can turn the phone off because I can hear you now.
Can you see us?
Yes.
Sweet.
All right, he's back in.
Hey.
I apologize on that one, guys.
Oh man, that's what we do. Teague's take, baby. We figured it out.
You guys, this is easy.
Yeah, man, true. You did it. True.
Yeah, I
You, you,
know.
you know, it's like back in the day when you used to get hurt. You just used to blow on it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's all you did. You
Exactly.
hit refresh. Okay, so JT, will you go ahead and go to the Zabien
Zabien
film
Brown?
so we can,
Okay.
to the Zabien Brown? Yeah. So this one. So this is Zabien Brown. The
I
corner.
really love this kid. This kid is really a good-looking player.
Tell us why.
Well, he's got great feet and great instincts. He's got great eyes. He can see the football. He's one of those guys that can watch him right here press. He's on top of the guy. We used to talk about high for five, with a press corner. He's got that ability to get his feet moving. See how he gets up on top of the guy, and he's got his hand on him. Now he's under control, so that if a receiver stops on him or cuts inside, he's got the ability to get back and look at him change direction there.
Hey, I want to pause on that real quick because JT, and maybe we need to. I'm not good enough on video to do that, but so early in the year, if you guys haven't seen it, go back onto our YouTube page and find I don't even know what it was called, JT, when we did a breakdown of Kool-Aid McKinstry. Right?
Oh,
And we
yeah.
talked about
Okay.
his ability to play like this. It looked like this, right? When he stayed on the top, used his hips very well. So Coach Campo and Coach Zimmer actually taught me a lot about how you open when you're in press, right? Open it at a 45 or at a V is what they used to call it.
Right.
Coach Campo, right? And sticking with the offhand.
There you go. There it is, right
There
there.
it is right there. And then staying on top and not because a lot of high school guys will fall right into a trail way early.
Yeah. Here's what we used to tell them. We used to say, stay high for five. If you're high for five, that means when that guy comes off and you get that offhand on him, as long as you're on top of him at 5 yards down the field, now by the time you open at the 45 and now he catches you, that's the place where you're probably going to get the comeback or the cutback, the dig or whatever. You're under control. But if you allow him to get on top of you right away, if you just turn and run and not get that hand on him and stay high over the top of him for five, you have to run full speed to stay with him. And now you have no way of handling his changes of direction. You're not under control anymore. Look at this one right here. Look at that instinct right there. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I really like how he sifts through.
Yep.
I mean, this is a pick route, right?
rough.
And
Yeah,
he just-
absolutely. That right there is instinct.
He looked like Antonio Langham.
Hey.
Anyway.
Watch this one. Look how quick he reacts. You see that reaction time, that burst? I love his press technique. Watch the burst on this one right here. Bam.
Left foot down.
See him come out of there?
Mm-hmm.
Now watch this. Watch him here. I love his look at how he changes direction.
See,
2-3 times. Offhand jam once, twice. That looks like the drill
See,
used to do, the three-handed jab.
Absolutely.
This
That's
one
what
right
it
here
is.
is the one that this is what I like to see. This is the one that gets you paid.
Absolutely.
This is the one on my sheet. I'm going to put money.
Yeah.
This is money.
You can be
Absolutely.
patient. You can shuffle. He's not jamming until he makes a break, and he's able to stay square, and he's on top, and there's nowhere to throw the ball.
The pattern's dead.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And what
Now,
about this coach? What do you think about this? And it might be minor. I'm just asking because it's on here. He's flipping from side to side. They got him on the left and on the right.
Yes.
Does that make any difference to you when you're evaluating and looking at
Absolutely, because I think that makes him an even better player, because some guys can only play one-handed. It's same thing with defensive linemen. Some guys can't put both hands down, so they have to stay in one spot. I think if a kid can flip like that, that's a guy that is a shutdown type of a guy because you can put him with the best receiver all the time, and he's
Somebody was a
equally
little early with the
he-
celebration.
he's equally able to play both sides.
Mhm, mhm. What are you showing here, JT?
I
This is pretty
just
good on the makeup speed.
Yeah. So this I was looking at the smoke from the stands and
Thought it
Bingham
was a touchdown.
celebrating, thinking that it was a touchdown, and Matter Day and Zabien Brown promptly telling them to shut up because it ain't a touchdown. He knocked us out.
Yeah, they're all cheering over there, and here
Right.
comes the smoke.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
probably was a horn on there too. But
And
anyway.
I tell you, you can watch this guy all day. Look at this. Look at how he comes out nice and easy. He's under control, and then he accelerates and he cuts the guy off.
Yes. I think he looks, this is a guy. So what do you do when you're looking at stuff like this? And I know you got to go through spring or something. A lot of these guys go into school early a lot of times, right? So they get
George, I don't want to cut you off, but watch that one again. JT,
Yeah, I'm
watch,
looking at this
watch
one.
This one.
He's
Look how
weaving.
he
He's
knows
keeping
where
his
he's
leverage.
weaving. He knows exactly where he wants to be in position on the guy. He's taking the inside out, and man, he just accelerates. I mean, I love this guy. I'm sorry to cut you off there. I could watch this kid all day.
No, that's good. Well, you see I'm saying very basic fundamentals where he's breaking off the correct foot, left foot plant, right foot plant.
Absolutely.
Obviously said that. And I don't know if you viewers know what I'm talking about, but if you're on the right hand side and you're breaking left, you're supposed to plant off your right foot to go left.
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! That's instinct. Just run by the blocker and make the tackle. I mean, he's physical, which you like. You said that earlier. He's a physical player. Listen, this guy could start for the Jaguars right now.
Well, and that's where I was going into that. When you're looking at someone that's coming into college like this, is that part of your projection? Or do you not even talk about it? Like, hey, this guy might get on the field as a freshman. I'm not saying he is right now. I'm just saying
this kid will get on the field as a freshman. I'd be willing to bet on this kid. The other kid, Dre Kirkpatrick, I think it's going to be it's going to take a little time, but it's a different position. This is a cover shutdown corner right here, and a good tackler. I mean, he very physical.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at this.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
He got a little stuff in the tank. You like that stuff in the tank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I like it. And I agree. And it is something that Alabama needs because we lost a couple corners.
Yeah.
One to the draft, one transferring.
It's going to be interesting because, Nick Saban, in my opinion, was, an outstanding defensive backfield coach. It's going to be interesting to see who the backfield coach is. And I don't know if they've changed down there or not, but.
That was pretty good. I'm glad he didn't get beat deep on that double move because he had him right there. He had him right there. Well, anyway, these are a couple of good guys that people are getting to see. A couple of defensive backs that are coming in. For me, Coach, what are you laughing at?
I'm not putting Chris Williams' comment on screen. It was funny, but I'm not putting it up here. He's in the Bama Standard chat, I think.
He tripping.
Yeah, no, he's in our chat.
But why would he do that? He trolling?
I don't know.
Sorry. Okay. Anyway, thanks for joining the show. We do appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
No, this is really good. And Coach, I can't thank you enough. And I know we have run you over on this, but this has been really good. Thank you to everybody that kind of sat through us with the technical difficulties. It's a live show, so you get what you get, right? But you guys are hanging in there with us. And everybody knows, though, Coach, this ain't the first time that we've had to do on-air work. but I think that's why people like to watch us and listen to us. Hopefully you guys agree that we're just down to earth, cool people having
absolutely.
Beers,
this is a great show, George. You're doing a great job, you guys.
Do that. Yeah. And so, Coach, I don't know if you really know how much this means for us to have you on.
Thank you.
you know. And I do want to say again for everyone to hear, Coach meant so much to me and my family. Give me the opportunity to come into Dallas after I had been traded by uh, the Green Bay Packers to the Atlanta Falcons, then cut by the Atlanta Falcons 3 weeks later, and then having a conversation with the Dallas Cowboys and them actually bringing me in. I know it's by the grace of God and things of that nature because Charlie Williams that got hurt. I forget the other safety's name that broke his arm.
Yeah.
That was behind Brock, I believe. I don't know, but anyway, I had the opportunity to be able to come into the Dallas Cowboys that year, and it really took me to another level because of what he's talking about. Just the teaching, no knock on anybody else because I had great coaches, but it was different. It was different. We had Super Bowl caliber people there, and things, and then coming back and then being able to see Dion, man, have him.
Right.
We were talking about not coaching guys.
Yeah. Well, and listen, you didn't have to coach Dion because he wasn't going to listen to you anyway. You just had to make sure he knew what he was facing and he would study. So you were all right with him.
That's right. That's right. I love that gentleman for what it is, but I learned so much from Kevin Smith, Darren Woodson, all the guys with their work ethic, mainly was a lot of it. But technical issues. Kevin Smith is the one coach that kind of convinced me to go from a bicycle break to the T-plant.
Yeah, T-plant. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that's like, man, come on, man. And then he started teaching me the whole rhythm. And it's kind of cool. I don't know, that we're doing in the locker room. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. Get rid of the wasted steps. These kind of things. And this is my 4th year, in the league. Man, I know that you have meant so much to us. JT was a young pup at that time, 3 years old, 4 years old.
Yeah.
Something of that nature. So he didn't really be around you that much, Coach.
I appreciate it. Well, that makes me feel good, and I'm really glad you had me on. I'm sorry I had the technical difficulty, but technology is not my thing. So,
well, before you go, I got a question from Sam. He wants to ask you what happened to your Jerry curls.
For my what?
Your Jerry curls.
It used to be. I used to have an afro. That was my deal. And they cleaned me up when I was a head coach. They had me clean up the hair and put glasses on, take the glasses off and put contacts in and all that stuff.
Him and Joe Avazano used to hang out at the bar down the road and have a couple cold ones. He had to get rid of that after became the head coach. I guess my question would be that everybody might be asking, are those beats on your head or that's some other off-brand? You got beats?
These are beats. I got 2 sets. This one's my wife's. I got the white ones. But she said the blue ones would look better on TV with my coat. So I put the blue ones on.
All right, and I do have to point out the coach tried to show me up because I thought we were sitting in the same room for a minute, but then I looked at his chair. He got the nice, fine leather couches that recline, and mine don't recline in the car.
No, what I really want to know is if you look over his right shoulder, he's got a seat back with like a silhouette of him.
Oh yeah, that's
you got a whole lot of seat backs, but how come you ain't got no silhouette on yours?
I do have one of those seat backs.
It don't look like that though.
You know what? I feel like Lamar Thomas when he was asking like, wait, what is that back there? Okay. Well, I can work on that.
Yeah, take a look over here. Can you see? I don't know if these cameras work.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
there it is.
Got them trophies, man. I'm kind of bedazzled by the popcorn machine, actually.
And I thought for a second I might be having a stroke because I think Emily is actually downstairs popping popcorn. So he's showing a popcorn machine, and I'm getting the aroma.
Smell. There you go.
And I'm like, I don't know if this is my brain playing tricks, and I got to go downstairs and find out.
All right,
Well,
Coach.
listen,
One more
George,
time, Coach. One more
George,
time. Yeah,
George, I want to have you on my radio show. All right. I
count me
mentioned
in,
that
Coach.
to you. I mentioned that to you when we were out there. So I'm going to give you a call and get you on
You do that.
sometime.
Tell everybody one more time where that station
It's
is, so they can come find you. Listen to it.
well, we do. I do also do a podcast. It's called Campo and Joe C.
Campo and Joe C.
We do it on Tuesday afternoon. It's on Facebook Live, and then it's on all the podcast things. But it's 1010 XL 92.5 FM, and I'm on the primetime show, which is on. I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1:30 to 3.
Hey, y'all see what he did there?
Easter.
He's on the prime time show.
That's
He's
right.
on the prime time show.
You know
Okay,
who I'm on with? You know who I'm on with is Leon Searcy. You remember Leon Searcy? You remember that name?
I do.
Played in the pro. He was a Pro Bowl
Yeah.
offensive tackle, but he played for us at Miami. So he's one of the guys on the same show. So
Okay, so the Joe C, is it spelled J-O?
no, Joe, and then it's C. Joe
Okay.
Coward, but it's Joe C.
Tuesdays at what time?
No, that's the
No, it's a
prime time.
podcast.
But Tuesday I'm on at 3:00 on Facebook Live. That's
Okay.
the podcast.
All right.
But it's also on all the podcast, stations afterwards. So,
Okay.
all
Well, I
right.
appreciate it. Thank your wife for
got it.
helping us out and doing this stuff. And Coach will big round of applause for him, and we'll talk to you soon. Give me a call.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
See you all later.
Yep. Talk to you later.
All righty. Thanks, JT.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Coach. Well, JT, that was awesome to be able to have him on and come in. I felt like he gave us a lot of great insight in a lot of areas. I don't even know what to say. I'm just baffled, with the amount of knowledge he gave us. So again, we apologize for the little small interruption in there for hanging out, but I think it's well worth it because when you have a guy on with that kind of stature to be able to come out and hang out for a little with us is just means a lot. It just shows type of guy that he is to be able to come back to one of his old former players' place and do this. So I'm touched, man. JT, I'm almost feeling a little emotional about this kind of stuff just because it's, shoot, he's a former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, regardless of what his record looked like. I mean, that's someone we pulled to be on our show. We've had a lot of tremendous guests, but head coaches in the NFL, man, you don't get them on the show, very often. So that's pretty cool, right?
Mhm.
Okay, well, I just need to remind everybody, man, because we're about to shut this down here in a second. Just make sure you subscribe, send people to this show. We got a lot of things coming. I do see your question about are y'all coming to a day. I don't know if JT will be able to make it.
No, I won't.
Yeah. Right now, my plans are to be there, but I'm doing so much traveling this month and next month. I am going in Tuscaloosa, FYI, for everybody. Well, JT may be down there too.
Yeah, that's next weekend.
Next weekend. So we'll be out and about down that way. But I'm probably going to go back in March to go visit Pops again. And then, getting back down there in April, it might be a bit much. But we'll see. But I want to see DeBoer and what the offense looks like and what the defense looks like and kind of see. But I don't know. It's too far away. I can't plan out 2 months. That's kind of crazy right now. So this is Chris Williams. He's tripping. You need to put the robot on him.
I know. I need to go ahead and just screenshot them so I can post them later.
Yeah, that's right. So, JT, I don't have any more, man. I know we've been on about 15 minutes long. I think it's been, tremendous. We don't plan on being back on for another 2 weeks. February 21st will be the next show. I think we're going to be breaking down some wide receivers.
We got to do
I
our
think,
Q&A recording, so we probably need to do that next week.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, y'all just be on alert on that because we do need to do a Q&A recording. We promised y'all when we made 1,000 subscribers, which
Yeah.
we're well over right now. So y'all keep doing that. Keep just checking in with us and supporting us the way that you have. Thank you to Beaches LLC one more time for being a great supporter of our show as well. With that, we're going to say we are up out of here because it's time for me to find some kind of tip to eat because I am headed to Vegas tomorrow night for the Super Bowl. And we'll see y'all later. Peace.